You know who's having a tough time right now? A woman who became so popular because of her whole Black Lives Matter movement, and in the wake of George Floyd, et cetera, kind of took over the country with her total woke agenda. And really, if you ask me, not consistent with who we are as Americans or any of what Martin Luther King Jr. would have ever aspired for us to be. But, you know, she's a Marxist, so there you go. She's also kind of dumb when it comes to finances, and she's now looking at a potential bankruptcy. But I want to share with you a little bit about the woman I'm talking about. That would be Patrice Cullors.
So I really have understood this moment. While the COVID-19 and the illness is tragic, what's more tragic is capitalism. What's more tragic is racism. What's more
capitalism. It's more tragic than anything. It's bad. Capitalism is bad. Racism, of course, as well.
Tragic is our inability to actually create a safety net for communities that are most attacked in this moment by both the crisis and the pandemic of racism, but also the crisis and pandemic of COVID-19.
Okay. So she came up with this really brilliant, if you ask me, capitalist idea: create a nonprofit, take all the money from everybody, all those people that you can just guilt into giving you more money. And she had her hand out and she got a lot of money. Like, let's be clear. A lot of money went to her and to her organization. And yet she's someone who really didn't understand money, which is why I feel so passionately, a whole other discussion for another time, about the importance of educating our youth on starting a business, starting a nonprofit, credit card rates, getting a mortgage, etc. But she didn't understand there's something called a 990, which is like one of the forms that you fill out, tax forms for a nonprofit. She had no clue what it was, and she was proud of that. I mean, no wonder this woman is bankrupt. Watch.
First of all, number one, I actually did not know what 990s were before all of this happened.
It's confusing.
So part of the opportunity here is to educate our folks. Like, something's being weaponized against us that many people don't even know and honestly don't care about.
I didn't know about them until they started asking us for them for COVID relief funds. I said, you need my 990. I had to call the accountant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the accountant handled that. Like, I don't know what that is. It is such a trip now to hear the word, the term 990s. I'm like, ugh, it's like triggering.
April 15th is next week.
Yo.
All right. So she's triggered when she hears like she has to actually fill out a tax form. Anyway, she created the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. It was a nonprofit. It grew out of this whole protest movement, and it spent a lot of money on friends and family, like lots of money. So much money that they're now actually on the verge of bankruptcy, according to an investigation into their finances done by Washington Free Beacon. So according to this report, they basically ran an $8.5 million deficit. It's like a mini U.S. government, right? It's like the government's like, hey, we can run deficits. We'll figure it out. Just keep running up the bill. 31.4 trillion. Who cares? Well, Patrice had her little thing, and she ran up an $8.5 million deficit, and she saw the value of all her investment accounts. Because, she doesn't know what a 990 form is. How's she going to invest her group? I was going to say firm, her nonprofit's money. Well, that dropped by nearly 10 million. And then fundraising went way down 88%. Year over year. Clearly, they're not getting the message across. Clearly, you need Biden to go take a few more trips to Howard University or something and get everybody with the program. I mean, how on earth did she lose fundraising that much? Down 88% year over year. Maybe she's getting competition. I don't know. But anyway, so they had all these financial woes. So you think, okay, I'm a business. I'm struggling. Maybe I cut back a little bit. Maybe I don't pay my people as much money. Maybe I look at reducing headcount, or I look at reducing salaries, etc. Nope. Apparently, and again, this is all according to the Washington Free Beacon, which just did this deep dive into the really fragile state of this foundation. And they found that her brother, this is classic, her brother, Paul Cullors, set up 2 companies for professional security services back in 2022 and was paid $1.6 million for these things. Wow. I mean, like, that kind of feels sort of fraudulent. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see just exactly where that $1.6 million went. I would like to know who he was employing, what events he was conducting security for. I think that's a worthwhile investigation. And, well, here you go. According to the Washington Free Beacon, there were only 2 paid employees. Okay, so there you go. 2 paid employees during the year. And they were collecting a $126,000 salary. So where's the rest of the money? I think it's a worthwhile question. There's more. Apparently, she was paying her sister. Her sister was getting millions of dollars. This is crazy. I mean, it's the corruption. Look, I mean, this is why you don't want a socialist system, right? Like, this is exactly why we don't want to be Venezuela or, the former USSR. Yeah, her sister was a board member and earned $1.1 million for consulting. Like, that's not okay. Okay? Like, that is not okay. And I'm sure that the Biden administration has no interest in looking into it, but they should. If it was a Tea Party organization, what's her name? She'd have been all over it, right? Obama's Lois Lerner there, she'd have been all over something like this. And by the way, she should, right? Because we shouldn't be having these nonprofits that are set up for such corrupt purposes as just paying off your brother and your sister. It's not a family business, guys. Come on. Leslie pointing out the mansions. Yeah, that's where some of it went. Remember that? There was that crazy mansion that she had out in California. It's like, gee, for a Marxist, you're living pretty darn well, lady, aren't you? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you donated any money, you deserve your money back, because this was squandered. She had a $6 million Los Angeles mansion that was bought by the charity donations. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. I'm sorry. This is just what's wrong with this country. And to think that people were giving money, unacceptable.